welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be covering the following 9 questions on Sonnet 13 by Shakespeare. If you haven't already watched the poetry analysis video, please go do that because you need to understand the poem and know what it is about before trying to answer these questions. An important question to ask here is, how does Shakespeare describe his lover? And although some may see this poem as offensive due to the nature of the other poems that have been written about women and about somebody's lover, he's actually just describing her as a normal person, and he's being realistic about what a normal person looks like and how they walk and etc. All the other things that he explains in the poem. And he does this using anti-compliments, antithesis, negative similes, and metaphors. Who is Shakespeare addressing in this poem? So it's not his lover, as he is speaking in the third person. So he's not speaking directly to someone. It's more like he's giving a speech to an audience of people. It's not somebody specific. So perhaps he's with his friends at the bar, and these are his fellow poets that have been writing poetry or just speaking about their women with these descriptions that he sees as exaggerated and false. Is this poem romantic? Because some may see it as offensive, but all in all, when we get to the end of the poem, the rhyming couplet changes the tone and makes it romantic. So I would say yes, in an honest, sincere way and at a deeper level. So it's not superficial love that we are speaking about here, that just has to do with looks. He loves his mistress for who she is, not what she is or how she looks. He recognizes the shortcomings of his mistress, unlike the other poets have done for theirs, but he loves her for exactly who she is, shortcomings, everything. Then we see a little bit of irony, because the speaker doesn't feel the need to use excessively romantic and hyperbolic language to describe her looks, but this only emphasizes her beauty more because she doesn't need all these superficial things to be seen as beautiful by him. The poem goes from a little bit offensive to romantic in the volta, which is present in the rhyming couplet at the end of the sonnet, which says, "and yet." So this is where the turn occurs, changing what some may see as offensive in the first 12 lines of the poem to really romantic because he admits his genuine, sincere love for her. Another question is, does this poem have a deeper meaning? For me, there are 3, and they all have to do with beauty standards. So for the first one, I said beauty standards are always changing. The previous beauty standards included pale skin, fair hair, and being really skinny. But now the present day beauty standards are to be tan and curvy. So these beauty standards are always changing, and you cannot let what is trendy dictate how you see yourself, as you may have been considered the beauty standard had you been born in another generation or even another country, because beauty standards and what people consider beautiful changes even from country to country. So you should not let that dictate how you see yourself. The second one is, it is not how you look that matters, but who you are. And you are lovable as long as you are beautiful on the inside, which is exactly what Shakespeare is telling us in this poem. The speaker acknowledges that despite his woman's appearance, where she may fall short on some of the things that other poets describe, his love for her is rare and special and far more valuable than those whose relationships are based on false comparisons and expectations. Another one that I think is emphasized is the fact that most beauty standards that we see or hear about are unrealistic and lies anyways. And the speaker calls out other poets who are doing this by saying they lied with false compare. So this implies that these poets are describing their women in ways that are untrue and misrepresenting their characteristics. Next, you will need to know the tone of the poem and provide a reason or some evidence from the poem for each. So I said there is a mocking tone, and this is because he describes how other poets lie in their poems and about their lovers. He does this by using the words false compare and belied. There is also a humorous tone where he is making fun of these poets and how stupid they are to be comparing their women to these things that really they should never even be compared to, because it is so false. And you can use any of the negative similes or metaphors or anti-compliments throughout the first 12 lines of the poem to back this up. Then there is a shift to a more serious, genuine tone in the rhyming couplet, where the speaker confirms his love and affection for his lover. This is shown by the phrase "by heaven," which is saying that he swears that he is going to be honest in what he says next. And Ray makes it a more romantic poem, because he describes his love for his lover as very special. Then there is a question of who has been honest here, Shakespeare or the other poets. Maybe some men truly do think that their lovers match the beauty standards that they are writing about, and should not be mocked for it, as it is really their truth. And unfortunately, it is just the speaker that cannot relate. So you need to decide what is true. Is it the borderline insulting poem that Shakespeare wrote, or is it the blazons that the other men have written? Comment on the way the speaker starts the poem with "my mistress's eyes are nothing like the sun." This is a negative simile, where the speaker says that his lover's eyes cannot be compared to the sun. This is a strange way to begin a poem about love, as it is bringing the appearance of his lover down, not building her up. During the Elizabethan era, and even now, many poets write love poems which exaggerate women with false and insincere descriptions. Comments on line 2 and 3, where the speaker mentions the snow-white color and red lips. What is this describing? This is describing the beauty standard during the Elizabethan era. Women wanted pale white skin, as it was an indication of purity and wealth, because they did not have to work in the sun. They also had red lips or wore red lipstick because it was seen as very feminine, and it actually still is now. So this is one of the beauty standards that has remained a beauty standard, while a lot of the others have changed. "But no such roses see I in her cheeks." What does this mean? It means that his lover did not have the rosy cheeks that women in the Elizabethan era wanted, or that these poets wrote about. There could be many reasons for this, such as the fact that she just didn't wear makeup, and obviously naturally most of us don't have the blush that can only be achieved with makeup. It could also be that she had a darker toned skin, so this prevented the pink color of her cheeks from being very visible. Or it could be the fact, and I think that this is the most important one, that she didn't feel the need to wear makeup around him, or that he's seen her in the morning when she's woken up and she doesn't have makeup on, or when they go out together she doesn't feel the need to dress up and, really put effort in to try and match these unrealistic beauty standards, because their relationship is more genuine and sincere and real. It does not rely on superficial things such as her looks to keep the love alive. What figure of speech is used in line 11 and 12, and why is it effective? So it says, "I grant I never saw a goddess go. My mistress when she walks treads on the ground." Here we see alliteration, which is the repetition of the hard G sound, and this emphasizes how hard and heavy his lover walks. He also uses words with just one syllable, and this slows the pace of the poem down, creating an image in our minds of the lady walking very heavily and slowly. What is the main theme of the poem? The main theme is a genuine expression of love that is free from exaggerated compliments or hyperboles. The speaker talks about his lover's features realistically, which is a contrast to the typical overly romanticized descriptions used in other poems. It highlights the fact that true love does not require false comparisons or lies, but an appreciation of the genuine qualities or characteristics of your lover. So how do lines 1 to 12 emphasize this theme? The speaker makes reference to unconventional comparisons to describe his lover, including the ones listed, so eyes not like the sun, wise, and her hair, breath reeks, music is more pleasant than her voice, and her loud and heavy walk. So despite the unflattering sensory imagery that the speaker creates by using those comparisons, he admits that he still loves her. Where is it evident that he is mocking other poets in their places? So in lines 1 to 12, he uses metaphors and similes that other poets have used to describe their lovers, but implying the opposite in order to highlight how unrealistic and false they are. All these comparisons emphasize how he loves his lover, even though she may fall short in terms of the beauty standards that were evident at the time, which highlights how true and genuine his love for her is. It's also evident in the rhyming couplet, where he uses the word belied with false compare, and this explicitly states that these other poets are misrepresenting their women by comparing them to things that are not true. Thank you guys for watching. I hope that it helped you. Please will you like, subscribe, and follow my various accounts. It would really help me out. And comment any additional questions that you have, or if you have different answers than the ones that I gave, please also comment those. Also comment what videos you would like to see next.